Mike, obviously a tough circumstance tonight, going back west to east on second night of a back-to-back. Just how are the legs feeling? How are you guys feeling? Just where to kind of get away tonight?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a little tired. Didn't get too much rest last night, but that's not an excuse. I mean, I've seen NBA back-to-backs happen.
Coach talked about the last two third quarters that you guys have played. What do you think you need to correct, and what needs to go into making the defense better in those periods?
Yeah, I mean, we've had plenty of third quarters where we just come out and really put it on teams as well. You know, we did it to Charlotte a couple games ago, so I don't think we got to overreact. But at the same time, Coach mentioned, you know, making sure we get out there and get loose and get ready to go in the third quarter. I think that's valid, and we just got to come out and realize there's two halves of basketball. You got to play all 48 minutes and not let teams have those big runs.
41 points allowed tonight in the third quarter. Not necessarily just a third quarter thing, but it was also in last night's game as well with 45. Is it a connection thing? Is it an effort thing on the defensive end? Just where did you see kind of the breakdowns tonight defensively?
It's probably a little bit of all of those. Definitely could probably give them more effort collectively, and then help each other out. We put them on the line a lot. I think Paolo shot 19 free throws. That's a lot of free throws. So we got to be better about putting guys on the line, and then really just be assertive on that end. You know, don't let the game come to you and hope they miss shots. You got to make it tough on teams, and I don't think we really did that tonight.
Feels like you have come out, recently in the first quarters and really looking for your shot, really been aggressive. What are you feeling as the game goes on in terms of flow and how you're looking for your shot and how you're adjusting?
Yeah, I think it's something we're collectively still trying to master. You know, continuing to find guys' shots throughout the midst of the game. Because sometimes we play different in the first quarter than we do in the fourth quarter or whatever that may be, and that's a lot of teams. But you know, Aaron, for example, got most of his shots probably in the first quarter. Didn't really touch the ball in the third quarter or the fourth quarter much. So it's just figuring out when guys. It's a tough balance when you got a lot of guys who are very capable. Sometimes you go a long stretch without really touching the ball. So for me, I kind of realized if I'm gonna get some shot attempts up, it's gonna have to come in the flow of the game, and I'm gonna have to really at times be aggressive and things like that. So yeah, it's still a balance we're trying to figure out, I think.
Are you guys having conversations about that, about trying to sort of figure out those rhythms, whether it's the shot balance or anything like that, or is it something that guys sort of need to figure out individually?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tough, just because we do got a lot of guys who game to game it could be a different hot hand, so we don't really, and that's a blessing and a curse sometimes. I don't know. Maybe the answer is staggering a couple of the starters with the bench unit, or I don't really know the answer. But I do feel like there are times in the game when, you know, Aaron doesn't touch the ball for an extended period of time, or myself, or, you know, Pope has some games where he's getting 3 shots up and he's on the floor 35 minutes, you know. So I think it's definitely a tough balance to find, and that's really up to the coaches. You know, they gotta. That's their job. That's not our job. So we just do what we're told. Try to space the floor the right way, play through big fella, and that's all we can do. And I think as the season goes on, we'll continue to get better and better at finding that balance.
We tend to focus a lot on the physical toll that the schedule takes on guys. The players have told me before that the mental side is just as tough, where it's the travel and just the constant kind of way the schedule progresses. Do you feel that, or is it more the physical side in terms of these back-to-backs and how dense your schedule has been to start the season?
I'd say more than physical, it's mental for sure. So many games, and it's just sometimes it's hard to get yourself amped up for every single game. But it's our job, so it's our job to do that. So we gotta find ways to do better on these back-to-back games and not come out flat sometimes. Especially in that third quarter. So, yeah, there's a physical part to it, but there's definitely the mental part as well.
Has it felt like you guys have played a lot of games to start the season? Is it noticeably different?
It feels like we played a lot of games. And I know I thank the Lord. I mean, I'm blessed. I haven't missed a game yet, you know. So definitely feel like played a lot of games, but man, this is basketball. It's not like we're on the front lines of a war, you know what I mean? So it's up to us to recover our bodies, make sure we're you know, getting refreshed off the court, and come to work and play hard and get wins.
What makes Orlando's defense so tough? Once they took the 2 or 3 or 4 point lead in the fourth, it sort of felt like a tougher uphill battle, even though it was always pretty much a 1 or 2 possession game. What made them so tough down the stretch defensively?
Silly mistakes on our end, probably fatigue mistakes. You know, we were tired, and normally we can really execute down the stretch. I think we still scored some. We just was giving it back up on the other end. We did have a lot of missed shots, a lot of turnovers towards the end as well. So I think a lot of those were just fatigue mistakes that we don't normally make.
Thank you, Mike.